He doesn't move. The fist is coming. Everyone sees it. Bruce sees it. And he stands there like the air itself has frozen around him. No hands up, no step back, nothing. Just waiting. The room is small. Oakland, 1964, maybe earlier. Doesn't matter. What matters is the walls are close. The ceiling is low and there are 8, maybe 10 people pressed against the edges watching this happen. Students, skeptics, a couple of street fighters who came in, talking loud and now aren't saying a word. It's hot. Not weather hot. Tension hot. The kind that makes your shirt stick to your back even when you're just standing still. Bruce Lee is in the center, barefoot, t-shirt. He's not big. That's the first thing people always notice. He's maybe 135 pounds. Lean in a way that looks almost fragile if you don't know what you're looking at. But his shoulders are too wide for his frame. His forearms are carved. And when he moves, it's like watching something that shouldn't be possible in a human body. But right now, he's not moving. Across from him is a man twice his size. Thick neck, heavy hands. The kind of guy who's been in enough fights to know what power feels like. He's been invited to hit Bruce, not spar, not trade. Hit him as hard as he can. Center mass, no games. And Bruce told him one thing. Don't hold back. The man thought it was a setup. Thought Bruce would slip it, block it, do some flashy Wing Chun trap and make him look stupid. That's what these kung fu guys do, right? They don't actually get hit. But Bruce just stands there, hands at his sides, breathing slow. Eyes on the man, but not tense. Not even focused in the way you'd expect. More like he's looking through him, past him. At something the rest of the room can't see. The man shifts his weight. He's uncomfortable now. It's one thing to throw a punch in a fight. It's another thing to hit someone who's just standing there. Watching you, waiting. Someone in the corner mutters something. A nervous laugh that dies fast. Bruce doesn't blink. The man steps in. The punch comes fast. No telegraph. No wind-up. Just a straight right hand thrown with the kind of bad intention that comes from years of breaking things. Jaws, ribs, egos. It lands clean. Center of the chest. Just below the sternum. The sound is dull. Flat. Like a hand slapping wet clay. Not the sharp crack you hear in movies. Real impacts don't sound like that. They sound heavy, muted, wrong. Bruce's body shifts. Not much. Just enough to show the force transferred. His back foot slides an inch. His torso compresses, but his face doesn't change. Doesn't wince, doesn't flinch. His eyes stay on the man. Steady, calm. And then he breathes out. Slow, controlled, like he just finished a stretch. The man steps back. His hand is still clenched. He's staring at Bruce like he just saw something that doesn't compute. Because Bruce should be on the ground, or doubled over, or at least showing something. Pain, anger, shock. But there's bend, it cracks. Bruce learned to stay soft, to breathe through the moment, to let the force pass through him instead of stopping inside him. He called it the art of relaxation under pressure. And he didn't learn it from a book. He let people hit him over and over. Different angles, different weapons, fists, elbows, kicks, sticks. He stood there and told them to come at him. And he trained his body not to react, not to flinch, not to close his eyes or turn his head or do any of the 1,000 little things the nervous system wants to do when violence is coming. Because those little things get you killed. In a real fight, you don't have time to brace. You don't have time to see it coming. The hit that ends you is the one you don't expect. So Bruce made himself expect everything. Made himself comfortable with impact, with pain, with the chaos of being hurt and still having to move, still having to think. He turned his body into a laboratory. Every punch someone threw at him was data. How did his ribs respond? How did his breathing hold? Did his mind stay clear or did it panic? Did he stay present or did he disappear into the shock? He wasn't testing his toughness. He was testing his system. And when the system failed, he adjusted. Changed his stance, changed his breathing, changed the way he held tension in his core. Then he'd have them hit him again. No ego, no performance, just work. Dark, methodical, necessary work. Fear is the real opponent, not the man in front of you, not the fist, not even the pain. It's the fear of the pain, the anticipation, the dread. That's what freezes people. That's what makes them slow, makes them stupid. Most people run from pain their entire lives. They avoid it, numb it, pretend it isn't there. And so when it finally arrives, when it's unavoidable, they have no relationship with it. It's a stranger, a monster, and they collapse. Bruce Lee walked toward pain, studied it, lived inside it until it became familiar. until it lost its power. He understood something most people never learn. Pain is just information. It tells you where you are, what's happening, what's broken, what's still working. But it's not a command. It doesn't get to decide what you do next. Only you decide that. And if you train yourself to stay calm when pain arrives, to keep your mind clear and your body loose, then pain becomes just another variable, just another part of the equation. Not the end of the fight, just the middle. There's a difference between a fighter and a master. A fighter trains to avoid damage, to be fast enough, slick enough, tough enough that the other guy can't touch him. And that works. For a while, until it doesn't, until someone finds the gap, until fatigue sets in, until luck runs out. A master trains knowing damage is inevitable, knowing that no matter how good you are, you're going to get hit. You're going to get hurt. And the question isn't if, it's what happens after. Can you still move? Can you still think? Can you still fight? Most people can't. Most people take one clean shot and the light goes out. Not because their body quit. Because their mind did. Because they didn't know they could keep going. Didn't know what it felt like to be hurt and still be there. Bruce knew. Because he'd been there 1,000 times. In training, in sparring. In those quiet rooms with no cameras and no audience. Just him and the people willing to hit him hard enough to mean it. He built a body that could take impact. But more than that, he built a mind that didn't fear it. And that's the part no one talks about. The part that doesn't show up in the films or the photos or the stories people tell at parties. The alone part. The part where you stand in front of someone and tell them to hurt you, and then you do it again and again until your nervous system rewrites itself. Until fear becomes just another noise in the background. Ignorable. Irrelevant. That's not toughness. That's transcendence. The man who hit Bruce that day never forgot it. Years later, he'd tell people about it. Not as a brag, not as a story about how hard he could punch, but as a story about what he saw in Bruce's eyes after the hit landed. No pain, no anger, no relief. Just clarity. Like he'd just confirmed something he already knew. Like the punch was a question and the answer was yes. The room emptied out slowly that day. People didn't talk much, didn't joke. They just left, went home, sat with what they saw. Because it changed something. Seeing a man stand there and take a full power hit like it was nothing, like his body was made of something different, something denser, something that didn't break the way bodies are supposed to break. It wasn't superhuman. That's the thing people get wrong. It was deeply human. It was what the human body is capable of when you strip away the fear, when you stop negotiating with pain and start using it. Bruce Lee didn't transcend the body. He mastered it. There's a cost to that kind of training. Always is. You can't take hits like that forever. Can't absorb impact after impact and expect the structure to hold indefinitely. The body keeps score. Cartilage wears down. Fascia scars. Bones remember. Bruce knew that. He wasn't stupid. He wasn't reckless. But he also knew that without that training, without that relationship with pain, he'd never be what he needed to be. So he paid the cost, willingly, consciously, because the alternative was living in fear. And that to him was worse than any punch. The story doesn't end with a lesson. It doesn't wrap up clean. It just stops. Like most real things do, Bruce Lee stood in that room and let a man hit him as hard as he could. And then he breathed out, slow, controlled. And the man understood, maybe for the first time, what it meant to be on the other side of mastery. Not beaten, not humiliated. Just shown what's possible when you stop running, when you stop pretending the body is fragile, when you stop letting fear. And that to him was worse than any punch. The story doesn't end with a lesson. It doesn't wrap up clean. It just stops. Like most real things do, Bruce Lee stood in that room and let a man hit him as hard as he could. And then he breathed out, slow, controlled. And the man understood, maybe for the first time, what it meant to be on the other side of mastery. Not beaten, not humiliated. Just shown what's possible when you stop running, when you stop pretending the body is fragile, when you stop letting fear make your decisions. The room was quiet after. The kind of quiet that sits in your chest. That follows you home. That changes the way you think about your own limits. Because once you've seen someone stand still and take a hit like that, really seen it, you can't unsee it. You carry it. And maybe if you're brave enough, you start to ask yourself, what would happen if I stopped moving too?